Dillon Danis comes into the open workout, not one punch thrown, and you choked out a female man.
He's not that gifted. I could do WWE tomorrow. It's easy. That was the first time I ever did that. That was beautiful.
And a lot of it's fake.
Fake DMs.
Yeah, like,
he creates fake DMs and all
fake
types
DMs,
of
fake all
crazy
fake
shit.
this,
Yeah.
fake that. It's all fake. So like,
We can shake hands. And you say you give me your whole person. We didn't shake hands. You give me your whole person. We didn't shake hands. You can do MMA. Why are you scared to do MMA?
Because I've been going through the transcripts and I've seen some pretty behavior.
You don't make money anymore?
You've been begging.
No, come on.
You've been sending and sending me messages in my inbox forever.
He's gonna talk. He's not gonna let me talk.
Danis will step into the boxing ring for the first time when he squares off with Paul, and we are all waiting with bated breath to see what he will do.
Dillon Danis comes into the open workout, not one punch thrown, and you choked out a female man.
I don't know, man. I actually felt like so much more confident after seeing him. Like he has nothing to him in his eyes, you know. I would go right back. I don't think I'm gonna take any damage to this fight. Just go straight back into MMA because I'm still doing jiu-jitsu. I'm still doing everything. You know, I'm always training. He's not that gifted. I could do WWE tomorrow. It's easy. That was the first time I ever did that. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't bring that nasty prime. Bring some good water. Kind of day one's a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really appreciate that. I mean, I think we go back about 5 years.
A fight to rival all fights. The bad blood between Dillon Danis and Logan Paul is palpable only days away from the boxing match next Saturday. These two have taken their rift on social media to a point where Logan Paul's fiancée even decided to sue Danis for defamation. Danis has threatened to pull out of the fight twice already, and a recent lie detector couldn't get him to either confirm nor deny whether he is showing up to the fight or not. We're all wondering if he will show up, but more importantly, we all wonder if he will respect the rules of boxing while inside the ring, because Dillon Danis' behavior clearly shows he has a personal vendetta against the Paul brothers.
and a lot of it's fake.
Fake DMs.
Yeah, like,
he creates fake DMs and all
fake
types
DMs,
of
fake all
crazy
fake
shit.
this,
Yeah.
fake that. It's all fake. So like,
Hey, Dillon, I know you're watching this live. You in the same hotel as me.
Not even he knows if he hates Jake or Logan more. The vendetta will play out in reality on October 14. Paul last donned boxing gloves in November 2021 when he went the full 8 rounds against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in an exhibition bout. The crossover combat star has been recently focusing his attention on WWE, where he's impressed at tentpole events like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam this year. However, Paul will now make his return to boxing as part of the X Series card that also features KSI taking on Tommy Fury. Paul will face MMA fighter Danis, who is set to make his boxing debut. Meanwhile, Danis is likely set for a significant payday if he does show up to meet Paul in Manchester, but the Bellator veteran also hasn't competed in more than 4 years and is currently a sizable underdog heading into his boxing debut.
We can shake hands. And you say you give me your whole person. We didn't shake hands. You give me your whole person. We didn't shake hands. You can do MMA. Why are you scared to do MMA?
Quitting on the stool, his coach is throwing in the towel, or a vicious KO.
Betting men. Since the fight was officially announced, Dillon Danis has been very active on social media, directing his comments towards Logan Paul and even Paul's fiancée. This pre-fight buildup reached its peak at the press conference when the two fighters came face-to-face and engaged in a heated conversation. However, amidst the trash talk, they introduced a rather unique bet. The bet stated that if Dillon Danis emerged victorious against Logan Paul, he would be honored as the best man at Paul's upcoming wedding with his fiancée, Nina Agdal. On the contrary, if Logan Paul emerged as the winner, he would claim the entirety of Danis' purse. Paul expressed his intention to draft a formal contract for this arrangement, ensuring its legality and commitment.
Because I've been going through the transcripts and I've seen some pretty behavior.
You don't make money anymore? I'm in rage right now, bro.
DildoDanis.com, running counter. That's how long it's been since you last fought.
Okay.
The conversation started with Danis saying, "If I come out on top, you have to grant me the role of your best man at your wedding." To which Paul replied, "All right, and if I win, I will take your entire purse." The fighter shook hands on the deal, with Paul mentioning, "You'll have a contract as proof. I'll send you a signed contract." Even if Danis were to win, it's doubtful that Agdal would welcome him as the best man at their wedding. Furthermore, Logan Paul's brother Jake Paul has attempted similar purse bets in his previous boxing matches, so Logan's decision to do the same comes as no surprise. However, none of these previously proposed bets involving Paul have ever materialized due to various reasons, making it entirely possible that Dillon Danis could retain his purse regardless of the fight's outcome.
Our choosing has to verify the injury, and then if he is indeed faking it, he has to pay $100,000.
I just know by just talking to him, he's just a scumbag, you know? And the way he treats his family, the way he treats his brother, you just tell that he's not a good guy.
Choosing champions. Dillon Danis has made himself a lot of enemies. The list is long, but some of the most high-profile names on it are former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov and Danish model Nina Agdal. Nurmagomedov famously beat him up, while Agdal is currently suing him. Last week, Agdal was granted a temporary restraining order against Danis, who she accuses of sharing revenge porn pictures. Danis is boxing Logan Paul, who happens to be engaged to Nina Agdal, in London this weekend. He has been tweeting incessantly about the Danish model while posting digitally altered images of her. It sounds like the BJJ black belt's legal problems are only just beginning, but he can console himself with the knowledge that one of the best mixed martial artists of all time will be rooting for him this weekend.
You've been begging.
No, come on.
You've been sending and sending me messages in my inbox forever.
He's gonna talk to you, he's not gonna let me talk.
No, not a good. No.
Not a good fighter, you said that was a good fighter. A real fighter.
Oh, a real fighter.
Yeah.
I see Dillon got props. Hey, bro, that's creative. You come up
Like
with that
that one,
yourself?
right? Huh?
Was that the surprise that you told me about?
Me and him actually in the beginning were fine, and then he started talking about me, and then I was like, let's have this fight, and then it was supposed to happen, he got hurt.
But Danis does have at least one high-profile fan, with Demetrious Johnson coming out in support of the BJJ black belt. As the fighters are preparing to wage all-out war on each other, people are choosing sides. Each one is rooting for their champion of choice. A case in point is McGregor's all-out and very vocal support for Danis. In recent days, Conor McGregor suggested Dillon Danis should snap Logan Paul's foot in half during the boxing match, even if that gets him disqualified for violating the rules of engagement. As Danis is currently speaking to multiple news outlets about this fight, he was asked if Conor McGregor's idea was possible to make happen. Danis also wanted to defend his reputation as a boxer by saying the following on Fred Talks Fighting YouTube channel. I think people pick Logan because they've never seen me box, and in my MMA fights, my boxing didn't look that good, and I'm pulling guard and shit like that. But I have a lot of ways to win. He only has one way. He may get choked unconscious, we'll see. Knowing how little Dillon Danis can be trusted amid his constant change of mind and erratic behavior, there is a good chance he will be trying to violate the rules. At this point, the man has nothing to lose due to the lawsuit against him and the fact he is not making too much money from this fight. The photos of Nina Agdal have continued to roll on his X account, and none of us can wait for the fight to start.
But one thing he does and says is anything. He makes everything up.
All right, bro, get back to work. I'm gonna stay on this live and keep whining until the shows up.
But he never shows up to fights, but if he does, we're going to put him to the test for sure. And I'm angry, I'm pissed off.
When asked about the chance of getting disqualified for using MMA tactics, Danis only responded by saying, "Who's going to stop me?" Another champion to step into this ring verbally is current one championship title holder and MMA legend Demetrious Johnson. During a recent episode of the Mighty Cast, one flyweight world champion Demetrious Johnson spoke about the fight. He is one of the persons that is hoping to see Danis making his boxing debut is Johnson. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, the former UFC champion detailed why he's excited to see him enter the ring with Paul.
He has lodged himself in his room. Dillon, have the panic attacks started? Have you realized what you signed up for?
Me and him actually in the beginning were fine, and then he started talking about me, and then I was like, let's have this fight, and then it was supposed to happen, he got hurt.
A fair counter to Danis' recent inactivity is the fact that Logan is far less experienced than his brother Jake when it comes to boxing, and Johnson feels that El Jefe has a chance to make up for the lack of success that other MMA fighters have had against the Paul brothers thus far. Meanwhile, Danis is turning up the heat. Danis briefly sent fans into a frenzy less than 2 weeks before the Paul matchup, when he sent out a cryptic message that implied he was frustrated by the build-up to the fight and might withdraw from the event altogether. UFC veteran and current BKFC star Mike Perry added further fuel to the fire when he followed Danis' post with a video claiming he'd be stepping in to fight Paul as the backup. But El Jefe quickly dismissed the suggestion that he was pulling out, and still appears set to make his boxing debut against Paul on October 14. It sounds like Johnson will always take the side of a martial artist against a YouTuber. He points out that Danis falls firmly into the former category. I'm rooting for Danis just because he comes from the same lineage of jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts as me. Logan Paul has knocked out UFC veterans Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren in boxing matches. Both men came from wrestling backgrounds, so the victories are not as impressive as perhaps they sound. But it rankles with Johnson that the YouTuber is 2-0 against mixed martial artists in boxing matches, and he believes that Danis could be the man to beat him. Johnson's support for Danis comes as a surprise to many, including his co-host on the podcast, where he made the comments. Johnson's co-host and producer Michael Wanzover agreed with Mighty Mouse, pointing out how crazy it is that they're backing Danis after everything that has happened. As Johnson points out on the podcast, Logan's brother Jake has built his name in combat sports by taking out former fighters from MMA and, in some people's eyes, making the sport look bad.
Yeah, to finish him off.
I get to be the one to take an eraser and remove him from existence. Because he just makes shit up. And I'm going to be like, fuck.
You should like create the thing now, just like call it a fact check.
At the same time, though he may be most well known at this point for his internet trolling, Danis was once a highly regarded pro grappling competitor who was transitioning to MMA before his long-term injuries. Danis may have had only 2 fights in MMA, but his status as a multiple-time world champion in jiu-jitsu means that in Johnson's eyes, he's carrying the flag for MMA this Saturday night when he steps through the ropes. That's all we have for you, folks. Join us next time.